Welcome back, comrades. Now, I'm gonna get the advertising out of the way here. Okay, so that's the usual place there. That's one of them. And here we go. And another one. And another one. And okay. How about here? And this should be coming up shortly, I think, assuming the bot's not broken, which it is sometimes. Let's see. Why is this not coming up? Normally it's up by now. You know what? Oh, there it goes. Okay, it's up now. Alright, there we go. There we go. Yep. I found it strange that the bot was taking so long to alert people in the main Discord about the stream. Anyway, yes. Hello, Fire. I'm doing pretty well now. I've recovered from whatever happened a couple days ago, and good to hear my voice is working. And what was it? Right, I was going to mention regarding Perry and Phasmophobia. That is still coming. I have a fair bit of work to do after this stream, so the computer is going to be on lockdown for a few days. But once it's free again, probably Monday or Tuesday evening, Perry can have his little shindig. I imagine that will be something to see. To be fair, I just fear for whoever's stuck with them. Anyway, yeah, that is still coming. Just bear with us for a few more days, and it will still be open to whoever else wants to join. Anyway, now that I've gotten all the pings out there, let's get started. Oh, there was one other thing I wanted to check. We're getting into investigation part 2 here now, so. Okay, let's see. Okay. Alright. There's a fair bit to do here. So this will be, you do have some days off work from Wednesday to Friday, so you might join whatever streams are happening. Okay. Okay. Well, Perry will likely do another one on Thursday. So, it'll probably be Phasmo again. Do that for a few weeks. Anyway, here we are, continuing from where we left off last week. 23rd October, 2:41 p.m., Naruhodo's Legal Consultancy. Oh, this room! It's been too long. It hasn't changed in the slightest, though. It's been some 6 months, hasn't it? That's a long time for things to stay so familiar. I didn't know when you might return, and I wanted everything to be as you'd left it. But it has been some 6 months, it's true.
So is your father alright, Susie? What happened? My father?
Yes, Professor Mikotoba! I mean, it was half a year ago, but that's why you went back to Japan. Because of the telegram you received saying he'd fallen ill with a very high fever for some unknown reason.
That's right. So, I was surprised to learn you'd be coming back so soon. Surprised, but happy. I think I wrote about it in my letter to you, that it was all a trick. My father is in fine health, and I'm obviously very relieved about that.
Well, we're all delighted to have you back.
It was quite by accident that I've been able to return to Europe, actually. It's because of a very grand conference called the International Forensic Science Symposium.
The International Forensic... That's the same symposium Lord Strongheart mentioned.
Anyway, I've arrived safe and sound, and all that matters is that I'm here now. After all, I haven't yet fulfilled my promise to you, Iris. Oh!
You must tell us everything that happened while you were back in Japan.
Yes, of course I shall.
And there's one other thing. Something you wrote in your letter that particularly grabbed my attention. About you-know-who. About Kazuma.
I know. I'll tell you all that I can.
So, now that we're here... Thinking back, that spade's been in here since we first moved in, hasn't it?
I'm sure I've told you before, Mr. Naruhodo, it's not a spade, it's a shovel.
No, shovels are for digging. That's for scooping up loose material. It's a spade.
No, spades are for digging. That's for scooping up loose material. It's a shovel.
The great spade-shovel war rages on. Okay, that was one thing that we had to do. Okay. Okay. Then the next thing we do is... we'll come back here. Back... Oh, can't move just yet. Okay, gotta converse. Hello, Sparkle! Good to see ya.
When I first arrived back in Japan, I really thought I'd never be allowed to return to Britain. But curiously, after that awful trial at the Supreme Court, Father's mood changed entirely.
The awful trial? Oh yes. For the murder of Josiah Brett.
Ooh, you dressed as a man then, didn't you, Susie? Oh, well, yes. Since women are forbidden in the courtroom, I had no choice. Wow, amazing! I wish I'd seen it, don't you, Runo?
Yes, I suppose so.
I want to play at being a lawyer now. I can wear a false mustache, maybe.
I don't think any mustache could hide the fact that you're just 10 years old, Iris. There's something else I've been wanting to ask you, Miss Sasato. It's about the real reason why Professor Mikotoba summoned you back to Japan. You said in your letter it was something to do with that convict's loot we found in Mr. Natsume's lodgings.
That's right, the very large dog collar we found with the bee emblem on it. It seems Mr. Natsume included a drawing of the collar in the report he submitted about his time in Britain. I understand that when Father saw the report, he turned as white as a sheet.
Why would that be then?
Father came to Britain himself, of course, to study. It was some time ago now, but he stayed for 6 years. I can only imagine that something must have happened during that time. But if he refuses to tell me what it was, then I intend to find the answers for myself. And I've decided that I, for one, won't keep any more secrets.
Oh, Susie!
That's a very meaningful look Susato-san's giving Iris there. Oh, is Iris keeping a secret now? Or was it that... Oh, right, the connection to the Baskervilles thing. Right, yeah, okay. Forensic Science Symposium. Lord Strongheart mentioned something about that symposium, too. I think he said that investigative authorities from 40 different countries would attend.
Yes, and from Japan, my father and Judge Jigoku have been... And from Japan, my father and Judge Jigoku have been invited. It's something of an honor, I believe.
Well, Professor Mikotoba is the leading expert in forensic medicine in our country, after all. But who's the other person you mentioned? A judge, did you say?
Yes, His Excellency Judge Seishiro Jigoku. You've met him, Mr. Naruhodo. Last year in the Supreme Court. You can't possibly have forgotten. That terrible trial of yours when you were accused of murder.
Yes, I try to think of that as a positive turning point in my life these days.
Well, it was Judge Jigoku who presided over that trial.
Yes, he's the cool judge man. If I'm perfectly honest, I'd be happy never to see that man's face again in my life.
Oh, well, anyway, as Father was invited to the symposium, he agreed to me returning to Britain, too. He won't actually arrive until next month, but, well, I couldn't wait. So I pleaded with him, and in the end he agreed to me going on ahead.
Yes, about the symposium. It seems as though Lord Strongheart has put in an awful lot of work to make it happen. It's obviously very important.
I believe it is, yes. As I understand it, Lord Strongheart organized the entire event himself. I think he's hoping that by achieving exceptional results, he'll get the job of Attorney General.
The most senior position in the British justice system.
He's hoping to use his power to create the world's finest policing institution. That's what Father said, anyway. Apparently it's Lord Strongheart's lifelong ambition.
Does Professor Mikotoba know Lord Strongheart personally, then, I wonder? Oh no. Please don't tell me that Professor Mikotoba was the guy who betrayed Van Zeeks. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. Oh no. The world does tend to be small like this in these games. Actually, Lord Strongheart gave me a long speech about all about this very subject only yesterday. Yes, everything does tend to be connected, Sparkle. But I sort of lost the will to live early on and didn't really listen to much of it. I remember that. Lost the will to live early on.
How trying for you.
But McGilded isn't Japanese. We know it was a Japanese guy. Jazai Brett. The woman whose unforgivable actions ended in me being wrongly accused of a crime I didn't commit. The murder of Dr. John H. Wilson. Yes, Jazai Brett. That's a name I won't forget for as long as I live.
The extraordinary thing is, though, it seems it's a name we should all forget.
Sorry?
Since the incident, our government's intelligence services have been investigating Miss Brett. But it turns out that an Englishwoman by the name of Jazai Brett didn't actually exist.
Didn't exist? But how can that be?
It was a pseudonym. Her real name was Shin. And she wasn't a visiting student either. That was a front.
A front? Who on earth was she then?
Miss A. Shin. Her name is literally all our intelligence services have been able to ascertain about her. Nobody knows why or even how she came to be in Japan. It's a complete mystery.
But that makes no sense! It's no easy task to be accepted as a foreign student anywhere! What could the woman have been up to?
I'm afraid I really don't know. The only thing we can be sure of is that she had some business in our country that we don't yet understand.
And now she's been killed. Wait. A Shin. Was that the fourth name in the Morse code music box thingy? We had Gregson, we had Professor Mikotoba, we had two other names. Was one of them Shin? I don't remember. Still gonna call her Swan Lady. Yeah, that's fair. And now she's been killed, while all the questions surrounding her existence remain unanswered. Yep, all thanks to Jack Ruby. I mean, Mini Memo!
I'm afraid so.
Hey, Shin. Who on earth was she? Why do I feel as though I've heard that name before somewhere? That was definitely one of the names on the cipher, then. What about Kazuma?
After my friend Ray's trial, the reporter who actually killed Miss Brett said something very strange.
I know the truth! I know you had a hand in what went on! In that visiting student's fate! Nobody here in Japan knows anything about it! They don't know that the guy never made it to England, that he died on that steamship! And that he'll never...
Obviously, I couldn't ask him to elaborate at the time.
You'll bet she was actually Dahlia Hawthorne! Imagine, we got a full Dio thing going on here, only it's Dahlia Hawthorne.
But later I visited the man in his prison cell and asked him what he was going to say about Kazuma-sama.
And what did you learn?
After he died on the voyage to Great Britain, his body should have been unladen at the port of Hong Kong and passed into the care of the consulate staff there.
Should have been?
Well, it turns out that his body never arrived. It just disappeared.
What? Kazuma's body vanished? Wait, is he not dead?
Our government tried to cover the fact up, it seems. They erected a grave on the cliffs by our hometown. Except, Kazuma-sama isn't there.
Did Professor Mikotoba know about this?
Yes, it would seem that he did. But he didn't tell me. They're still investigating what happened to Kazuma-sama's body as we speak.
I just don't believe it. What is this acute feeling of apprehension I have all of a sudden? Hang on. Before we go any further, I'm gonna check one thing. Okay, I'm gonna check to see... Okay. I'm gonna see if I can find those 4 names again. Let's see. Okay, here. Yeah, that's right. Oh no, it wasn't Mikotoba. It was let's see, it was Jay Wilson, so Iris's father, the guy who was killed in the first case. T. Gregson, so Inspector Gregson. A. Shin, so Jazai Brett, and Kei Asogi, so Kazuma. Those were the 4 names. Okay, so they were involved in something, but we don't know what. Perhaps he was turned into fish food. Oh no. I sure hope not. Sounds like something the Russians would do. At least those Russians, the sailors. An intruder blocks the way. Well, hello, Red. Good to see you. Anyway, yeah. So I guess we have our 4 names. Chum Bucket! Oh no. The Kazuma mystery. Thinking back now, some of the things that happened on the SS Borea were definitely strange. I mean, after he died, we never saw his body again, did we? Could it be? Could it be that he's actually still alive?
Stop it, Mr. Naruhodo! It's too much to bear!
Oh, see. It's an honor, Eugene Krabs. Red confirmed Mr. Krabs. Yes, this was yet another evil ploy from the devious Plankton in order to steal the Krabby Patty secret formula.
It's too much to bear. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Just thinking about the possibility pains me so very much. Cast your mind back for a moment, Mr. Naruhodo. When Kazuma-sama was discovered, Mr. Sholmes was there, wasn't he? And he definitely examined the body. I remember it clearly.
Ah, you're right. So if Kazuma hadn't actually been dead at all, it would mean that Mr. Sholmes had lied to us.
There's no reason why he would possibly have done such a thing.
Press X to doubt. Boop. I suppose that's true, yes. Your Honor, it's obvious that Crab killed his family and turned it into burgers. Oh boy, going all Sweeney Todd on us here now, huh?
The idea that he might still be alive somewhere. It wants to fill me with hope, but I can't let it. Because if it turned out not to be true, then I'd be back at the bottom of that awful pit of despair again. I'm terrified of what that might do to me.
Oh, Miss Susato. I know she's given the idea the thought it deserves. It's Susato-san we're talking about, after all. Wouldn't put it past Sholmes man to put all of this together as an elaborate prank. None of the trials were real. I'm thinking none of the trials were real, but I don't think Sholmes is the one at the top of the chain here. I still think it's I still think it's Strongheart. So I probably shouldn't push it now.
It must be about a year ago now.
Sorry.
It must be about a year ago now. And I wrote a really long story based on some of my father's old notes. It's about one of Hurley's greatest exploits. I called it The Hound of the Baskervilles.
But then Mr. Sholmes forbade you from publishing it, and put the manuscript somewhere nobody could get their hands on it.
So nobody knows anything about it apart from Hurley and I. But for some reason, you knew the title of it, didn't you, Susie?
Ah, here we go.
Oh, it sounds so exciting! The Hound of the Baskervilles! I should love to read it. And you wouldn't tell me how you'd come to know it. Yes, but I made you a promise that I would explain one day, didn't I? I think it's time.
Oh, here we go.
Oh! I'm only sorry I've had to keep it from you for so long, Iris.
The Hound of the Baskervilles, here we go. What if London isn't even real and everything was set up in a Truman Show type thing? Imagine if it was all set up in a Truman Show type thing for Sholmes. That's the real mystery he has to solve.
It was completely by accident that I came to know the title of your manuscript, Iris.
Phoenix, wake up, the trial is over! Phoenix, wake up! The trial is over! Old England? Samurais? What are you talking about? You tripped during the examination and blacked out for an hour. Imagine.
It was a short while before we left Japan. I was cleaning Father's study, and I saw something on his writing desk. A large box of papers. There was a label affixed to the box that was written in English. It read, "The Hound of the Baskervilles."
What?
My Baskerville story? Of course, I had no idea what it was at the time, but Father came in and...
Susato, what are you doing? Sorry, Susato, what are you doing? Sorry, he hasn't realized what she's looking at.
Oh, Father.
Did you look at those papers?
No, I simply read the label, that's all. That's all.
Well, put it out of your mind.
Sorry?
Forget that you ever saw it, and certainly don't tell anybody else about this. Do you understand? But what was Iris's manuscript doing in Japan?
I have no idea. But when I heard Iris mention the word Baskerville that day...
Oh, do Sholmes and Mikotoba know each other then? Oh, right. They might through Wilson. Right. It may have come from Wilson. Yes.
But when I heard Iris mention the word Baskerville that day, the title just slipped out. I would never have guessed that it was an unpublished account of one of Mr. Sholmes' exploits.
Do you understand, or it's the belt for you? Oh, that's a bit dark. How did the inverter not notice that she has the same last name as a character in the book? Oh, you mean Iris? No, Iris writes the books. And her father was John H. Wilson. She does not know that he is long dead. His murder was the subject of the first case in this game. So of course she knows, because she writes the books.
When I returned to Japan, I asked Father to explain, but he refused to answer any of my questions, and there was no sign of the big box in his office. That's really all I know about it. I've no doubt that Father has a very good reason for being so secretive about it, but still. I made up my mind to explain myself to both of you. Well, thank you for being so honest, Susie. So, Mr. Naruhodo, I'm ready to start investigating if you are. I've committed every detail about the case to memory.
But if Susato's father is in on it, then would he not be in the book? Iris is not in on it, to be clear. But she wrote the story about the Hound of the Baskervilles, but it contained information that Sholmes and apparently Mikotoba as well wanted to keep secret. So he said that she must not ever publish this work. And then somehow Mikotoba got his hands on it. I presume Sholmes told Wilson that that Iris had written this thing, and then Wilson sent the manuscript to Mikotoba for examination. He wouldn't necessarily have to have been involved in the Hound of the Baskervilles case. It's just that it contained information that Iris did not know was compromising to the greater conspiracy here.
And Iris has told me about the disturbing happenings at the Waxwork Museum as well.
So, you're fully abreast of the situation already, Miss Susato. I'd expected nothing less, to be honest.
I would think our first port of call should be to investigate this Mr. Drebber, the engineer responsible for building the elaborate machine that was used to effect this extraordinary trick.
Yes, a conjurer of sorts by the sound of it, well known in the fields of science and magic.
Then we need to go and arrest him.
Well, yes. He must know the truth behind this case, so I agree we really do need to find the man.
It sounds like it's a case of tracking someone down. Which is a job for the police. Or a great detective.
Are we supposed to guess who she might be thinking of? We don't have much time, so we need to get started straight away, I think.
Good idea. Well, best of luck then.
Oh, you're not coming today?
I'm going to Brixton Road shortly for the herb market. But let me know later how you got on, won't you?
That was a little abrupt. The pull of the herb market must be strong. Right. Inspect the... Okay. Okay. Now we move to Sholmes' suite. That was suspicious. She's definitely in on it. Oh, that is fair, Fire. That is fair. Maybe she's in on it and the rest of them don't know. That would be something. Examine. Over here. The blackboard. This blackboard is where Iris scribbles down her latest ideas, isn't it? Let's see. Oh, she seems to have drawn a lot of little stick figures all lined up. Look.
Cheap apples at the market is what all of them say.
What? The little figures can speak?
All your questions would be answered if only you would read this month's Rance magazine.
She did it! Throw her in the can! Oh, achievement unlocked, the Herlockian. There, that's what we were after. Iris is pulling everyone else through the Truman Show charade to troll Sholmes, man! Here we go. So I'm the only one who can't make any sense of this? There was our Herlockian achievement. Okay. Then we move to... Okay. Got it. Oops. Go back. Move to the Waxwork Museum. Then we gotta examine a stepladder. 23rd October. Madame Tuspel's.
Oh my! No wonder it's called the House of Horrors. I'd like to turn on my heels and go straight home, via the confectionery.
Being scared makes you crave sweets? I can understand that. I
was looking forward to a reunion after 6 months away, but...
The Attorney Light Zone. Ha. The Turnabout Zone.
There's no sign of Mr. Sholmes anywhere.
That's strange. He should be here investigating the abduction of the waxwork. Oh well, I suppose we'll just have to come back again later. I guess he really isn't here. Okay, waxwork. Stepladder.
Ah, there's a stepladder there, look.
Oh, yes, a stepladder.
I think perhaps we should let the proprietress know that someone's left it out. The stepladder, I mean.
Get on a sugar rush and forget being scared. Yep, seems to be her strategy.
Is something wrong?
Why do I feel as though I just managed to sidestep an argument? Achievement unlocked, the top rung. That's what we want. Okay. What else? Okay. Okay. Yeah, we don't come back here for a while for achievement stuff, so free investigation. Okay. Anyways, I should head to bed now. Have fun with the stream. Okay. Good night, Sparkle. Thanks for tuning in. Yep, Stepladder Sama. Hey, Stepladder, what are you doing? Lord Chief Justice's office. We need to go here? Okay. Oh, who's this? Who's this? 23rd October, British Supreme Court, Lord Chief Justice's office. Oh, who's that standing beside Lord Strongheart?
I wonder. I've never seen her before.
Ah, the young champion of the court. You had some success this morning, I understand.
You'll bet that's Iris in a costume. Or maybe this is her without the costume. You know what I'm saying?
And you've thrown the entire government into disarray as a result.
Oh! You mean because of Professor Harebrain's experiment?
Sham science being demonstrated at London's great Sham science being demonstrated at London's great exhibition! The country's been made to look foolish, and now politicians are scrabbling to respond. Lord Van Zeeks is in Whitehall as we speak, giving an emergency briefing.
Oh dear, I didn't mean to cause any trouble.
None of this is your responsibility. The government is entirely to blame for having been taken in. The special dispensation that prevents investigation at the scene will be annulled later today. Once that happens, my forensic investigation team will move in and deal with that scrap metal in no time.
It's scrap metal now, is it?
Until later then, Lord Strongheart. Until later then, Lord Strongheart.
Yes, thank you.
Who was that?
That was Dr. Courtney Scythe, Scotland Yard's esteemed chief coroner.
I knew it. I frickin' knew it. They named the coroner in the evidence report. The only time they ever name people involved in evidence acquisition is if they themselves show up later. It happened in an earlier case with Rolly Beat, if you remember. Okay, so she did show up. Her name was on the autopsy report in the last trial day that we had.
She's leading the forensic investigation team's handling of this case. She was just delivering her report about the victim, in fact.
Oh, I see. About Mr. Usman.
Following the outcome of the trial earlier, I asked the coroner's office to re-evaluate its findings. I don't have time to tell you what she concluded. If you want to know, you'll have to ask her directly.
Who's that Colress-looking? It's Dr. Courtney Scythe.
You can find her in the forensics laboratory.
Ah, right.
Now, What were you here to see me about? I can give you 7 minutes and 39 seconds of my time.
So he's not running quite so spectacularly late anymore. She is Colress now. What exactly is the forensic investigation team that you mentioned before?
The British Empire's police force must become the most exemplary in the world. For that to happen, it's imperative that we embrace forensic science and everything it has to offer. I first created the forensic investigation team a year ago now. Unofficially, of course, to pave the way.
Unova is real. Yeah, but I don't think anyone here has been to Unova. Yet.
Goodness, a year ago?
At next month's symposium, I intend to present the results of their work to the world. Once I do that, the House of Lords will be powerless to oppose the creation of a full-scale forensics division. And once that happens, the position of Attorney General will be mine, and criminals will suffer dearly.
What do you mean? So he is gunning for that position. And he is motivated somewhat sinisterly. If it counts UFC. No, sorry, I mean none of the characters. I've been to Unova a couple times. Actually, a number of times. Southeastern end. I imagine several of my viewers are from there. What do you mean?
For too long, those scoundrels have made a mockery of our legal system with false evidence and bribes.
Are you the Reaper of the Bailey? I'm sure they've seen Unova on a map at least once. Okay, fair. I'm not sure though. What year is this, and when was Oh, okay, no, it was definitely. Okay, it was definitely after. Yeah, it's not the 1500s. So it's after the 1500s. So now they must have, yeah, they must know about the quote-unquote New World.
But London's scum is about to be rounded up and burnt in the fires of hell. I intend to see to it personally.
2022 is after the 1500s.
By creating the finest police force the world has ever known, to protect our honor and our future.
Look at those eyes. He means every word.
Dr. Scythe is an extremely reliable coroner. When I officially establish the Forensics Division at Scotland Yard, she will run it as my right-hand woman. Now then, speaking of the symposium, Miss Mikotoba.
Oh, yes, my lord?
Your father should be on the high seas as we speak, making his way here to represent the Empire of Japan.
Yes, that's right. I understand he will arrive at the beginning of next month.
Are you acquainted, Lord Strongheart? With Professor Mikotoba, I mean.
It was many years ago now, but yes, I remember Dr. Mikotoba very well.
2010, Black 2 White 2, 2022, 1500s Ace Attorney. Alright, this just popped up, so let's go Lord Van Zeeks. I wanted to ask you about Lord Van Zeeks, actually. I heard that his older brother was killed some years ago by a mass murderer known as the Professor, who targeted nobles and royalty. Is that right?
You Japanese are a thorough lot. You've done your research well. Yes. And you could say it was that very incident that gave rise to the Reaper.
What? Why? I thought that was obvious.
When his brother Clint Van Zeeks was murdered. It was just after young Barock had graduated from the University of London and become a prosecutor. When obvious criminals who managed to escape to evade conviction in court started disappearing. Rumors quickly spread throughout the capital. Londoners started to say that wherever Barock Van Zeeks went, the ghost of his dead brother wasn't far behind.
Oh my word!
So, Lord Van Zeeks isn't the Reaper, it's the ghost of his brother?!
Ever since that time, he became a very aloof figure in London's legal circles.
Well, there we go.
If my memory serves, it was some 15 years ago now that your father came to Britain as a visiting student.
I still think it's actually Strongheart, but yeah, it would make sense that the the myth, as it were, is that and the legend is that it's his brother's ghost. This game is actually talking about a modern conspiracy. This is the game maker's way of letting the evidence out. I wouldn't be surprised at all, Aurum, if that were the case.
Some 15 years ago now that your father came to Britain as a visiting student.
It was the year I was born, so yes, 16 years ago, in fact.
Mikotoba was a young practitioner of forensic science, and Jigoku accompanied him as a young, promising judge. The punctiliousness and politeness of the Japanese at the time impressed us greatly. Not that I wish to imply impoliteness or carelessness on your part in any way.
I didn't think that you were.
Dr. Mikotoba studied forensics at one of London's large hospitals. St. Sinners, if I'm not mistaken.
Ayo, get Ghost Brutes in here and get the Reaper under control. Who knows? Who knows? Perry may encounter the ghost of Clint Van Zeeks on its next stream there. Who knows? That'd be hilarious if it did happen. And a little bit worrying, I think, because I thought I was safe from him here, you know? Yep, dawning realization of horror. Oh, I'm screwed. Anyway,
Dr. Scythe was also there then, as it happens.
Then Dr. Scythe knows my father, does she? Then Dr. Scythe knows my father, does she?
She was a young medical assistant at the time, so I doubt their paths crossed regularly. But I've no doubt they knew each other superficially. After all, Dr. Mikotoba was here studying his subject for some 6 years in total.
the real culprit was actually me, the player, all along. Oh no, it was Dog! Try putting lemon juice in his eye, then run to Canada. Who the... problem with that, Red? I'm already in Canada. "6 years. That's a long time to be studying abroad, isn't it?"
I lived with my grandmother in those years.
Run deeper. What, like Nunavut? So he left his newly born daughter behind and went overseas for 6 whole years? Run out of Canada, then back in. Now there's an idea, Fire. I might try that. Not sure whether it would work, especially considering this guy hops dimensions like they're like they're next door, literally. I don't know. So he left his new... Yeah, saw that. Rename myself to Lib.
It was a rather turbulent time at home.
Oh,
Perhaps Father wanted a reason to get away.
what do you mean? Why? Well, clearly something was going on at the time. Oh no. But they are next door. Well, you know what I mean, Aurum. 2 higher beings that can do that. I haven't yet figured out a way to I haven't yet figured out a way to open such doors for myself And honestly, I think if I ever came close to succeeding, I think I'd probably not wake up for a few days, and then when I did, I'd be screaming and destroying my own work, thanks to a certain someone. So yeah, please help me. Oh yes, Lord Strongheart.
Go ahead.
It's about Professor Harebrain's experimental machine. We'd like your permission to examine the remains, if possible.
Are you well versed in science, then?
Not in the slightest. In fact, you could say I was barely aware of the subject at all until recently.
Well, the special dispensation legally preventing investigation of the machine is currently being annulled. Within a few hours, Dr. Scythe's team of forensic experts will begin their own investigation. But I suppose until then, there's no harm in you looking at the wreckage, as long as you touch nothing.
Thank you! Being able to look at it is better than nothing.
And I'll be able to see it too.
Your time is up. You'll have to excuse me now, I'm afraid. My next engagement calls.
We are extremely sorry to have troubled you when you're so busy, my lord.
Make sure I touch everything. You know it, Fire.
I have important matters to attend to in preparation for the symposium, you understand.
No, that makes sense. Move. A new location has been added. Okay. Well, she's prompting me to go to the prison, so let's go to the prison. Whoa! Who gave him chalk? You know, this actually reminds me of something funny that happened when I was in undergrad. So I was involved in a musical. I think it was Charlie and the No, it wasn't. It wasn't Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. It was Beauty and the Beast. Oh, sorry, Fire. Here, I'll move the mic a bit away from my face. There we go. How's that? That should be better, I think. They don't have a forensic team, so they can't see your prints. Oh boy. Yep. Well played, Red. Well played. Anyway, the idea that sorry. Okay, so I was in so we were doing some practice for a musical, but the stage area was reserved by some other group for that day, so we had to find some other large empty room in which to do all of our practicing and such. And so we ended up going into this fairly large classroom, and they and what was on the there was a fairly large chalkboard in there, and it was all covered with equations like this, like in here with this jail cell. And some people remarked on that and said something about feeling bad for whoever had to work through all of that. It was me. I had written the equations in a class on quantum chemistry, because we had a group assignment, and I had been writing out a fairly lengthy solution to one of the problems in the assignment, and apparently it was never erased, so it was still there, and it looked a lot like this. It was, again, quantum mechanics, right? all these algebraic equations for quantum mechanics on the board, and I was probably the only one in the room at the musical practice who remotely understood what they were about. Well, at least I created an interesting backdrop for if anyone wanted to take pictures in the room or something. Anyway, so yes, I have done this. That's the short version. I have done exactly this, only not in a jail cell. 23rd October, local prison, cell 11. What's he doing?
He's... Oh my! The whole wall of the cell is covered in mathematical equations!
And he's still writing more now. Professor, sorry to interrupt. Oh, Mr. Naruhodo. And who is this young lady?
My name is Susato Mikotoba. I'm Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant. It's a pleasure to meet you, Professor. Yeah, it's a pleasure to meet you, Professor.
Oh, if only I'd met a refined young woman like you sooner. None of this would have happened. No, that's not logical. That makes no sense at all.
Oh dear, I'm sorry if my presence here upsets you.
I owe you an apology too, Professor. Oh, does he think she's hot? Is that what's going on? How old is he? $33. No, let's not. An apprentice. Yeah. No. Okay, let's not go there. I didn't manage to deliver what I promised you I would in court this morning. Oh no, no, the whole thing. Oh no, the whole thing, the whole miserable affair. Oh, wait, was that, Oh yeah, that. The whole miserable affair. It all happened because I've been such a complete and utter clot! You're calling the IBF on him? Remind me what the IBF is.
Professor Hairbrain, what have you been working on in your cell?
Oh, you mean that? Oh dear, how embarrassing. I was suddenly struck by an idea, you see, and I simply had to write it down. The wall was all I had to hand. Oh, is it some new hypothesis? Something to surpass super high voltage instantaneous kinesis, maybe? No, actually, this... The old FBI back then. Oh, fair enough. No, actually, this is my autobiography.
Your autobiography?
How I was diddled and fiddled by Albert Hairbrain. I found I can represent my odd fortunes with only odd numbers in an ambitious set of simultaneous equations.
Really?
I'm going to have to pay back all the loans I took for the kinesis machine, you see. So it's going to be a new serial publication from next month. Part 1, an odd birth and an odd upbringing. You can't beat the man's optimism, that's for sure. I see. Well, for now, would you mind if we talked a little more about the case? Oh, yes, of course! I've been working through the numbers. I was diddled, I was fiddled, by the pair of them! By Usman, and by that aloof engineer Drebber! We're not going to have to sit through an explanation of all these equations, are we? Here we go. This morning's trial. Everything I believed in has been turned on its head. My research, Mr. Usman, the kinesis machine, my hypothesis even. I'm sorry it's come to this. There was really no other way. No, it's not your fault. I wanted to protect my work, but in the end there was nothing worth protecting. It was never my intention to deceive anyone. I didn't want to trick the public.
No, of course you didn't.
But in court this morning, I realized something. Oh? If you've done something wrong without knowing it, you've still done something wrong. Logically, it makes no difference if you are aware of it or not. Ignorance is a poor excuse. The blame still lies with me.
Oh, Professor.
He believed in me this morning, you know. Baroque did. He believed in my hypothesis. You know, I think that's taking it a little too far, Hairbrain. You are responsible for making amends if you didn't know you did something wrong, but as long as you do that, I don't think, and you take steps to prevent it from happening again, no one can really hold it against you. Am I right? Am I wrong? And you seem to be doing all that you can to help patch this up, so good for you. Even though you're a bit crazy. He was fiddled, he was diddled, and now he was fricked. Yep. Too bad some people hold it against you anyway. Yep. Not a lot you can do about that, though, I'm afraid. Well, I think that was just a necessary factor in the prosecution establishing its case. No, Baroque wouldn't do something like that. I'm sure he genuinely believed it. Did he? I think I understand now. Why it was that he decided to take on the prosecution in my trial, I mean. Tricked, backstabbed, and quite possibly bamboozled. Yep, Vanzeek's motivation. After the terrible accident happened, nobody would believe in my hypothesis anymore. Not the police, not the prosecution service, not any lawyers even. I feel like I dealt some kind of finishing blow there. So if any other prosecutor had taken the case, if it was anyone other than Baroque. What about Bean-boozled? Maybe. I'm sure the prosecution would have declared my hypothesis a complete and utter nonsense.
And in that case, you would have been declared a fraud yourself, Professor.
Exactly, which would have been a fate worse than death for me. But Baroque insisted that I was a proper man of science from start to finish. You think that's why he... I know him very well indeed. He's an extremely kind-hearted soul.
But that extremely kind-hearted soul spent all morning trying to paint you as a murderer, didn't he?
Well, admittedly, that part of the analysis appears to have some flaws in it. What about the whole Reaper side of things? How does that fit in with the kind-hearted soul idea? Mr. Usman. Do you think he set out to trick me from the very start? I'm sorry to say, that does seem likely, yes. When I first met him, he introduced himself as a wealthy financier. Where's the rest of his soul, also? I think the rest of his soul is long gone to rot. Or rather, I think, no, that's the kind-hearted part. Yeah. Well, you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm trying to say. When I first met him, he introduced himself as a wealthy financier. He looked over the paper I'd written and said my work would benefit all humanity and must be pursued. He was so enthused. He was so emphatic. But in reality, he was the mastermind of some vast criminal network, it seems. Inside Gale Tornado is in his new ancestor's body. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. I still can't believe it.
As the machine was essentially a set decoration for some stage magic. It probably didn't require a large amount of investment, actually.
But the scale of it wasn't just some small trick. It was a very elaborate feat of deception. All young scientists are full of hope about their burgeoning ideas, full of zeal. But none of us have any money! We want to do research, but we can't afford it! Many of us take on barely legal part-time work to try to earn just a few measly pennies to carry on. To go through all of that only to be taken for a complete fool! It's too rotten to believe. Yeah, that certainly hasn't changed over the centuries. It is, I agree. And that's why we have to find those responsible and bring them to justice. Mr. Esmond is no more, of course, which leaves only the engineer.
Mr. Enoch Drebber.
Drebber the engineer. Is he an engineer, or a magician, or a swindler? It was about a year ago when Mr. Esmond first brought Drebber to meet me in my laboratory. Since then, I've met him many times to discuss details about the kinesis machine. But at no point did you have any inkling that he was just an illusionist? Oh, he definitely wasn't just an illusionist. What do you mean? He was a wealth of deep scientific knowledge. There's no question that the man's a genuine scientist. It's instantly apparent in conversation. Yes, the TF2 engineer. I remembered that fire, don't worry.
But the wretched man deceived you, Professor. It's unforgivable. We must do everything we can to find him and bring him to justice. Are there no more clues you can give us as to his whereabouts?
I'm sorry. We only ever discussed the kinesis machine. Nothing else. Although, just once. I did visit his workshop. What workshop? Drebber's enormous fabrication laboratory where he constructed my great machine. You didn't think to mention this earlier. Wow, you really are harebrained. Why didn't you mention this before? Why didn't they move that gear up? Well, it seems they did, and that's what caused all of this. Enoch Drebber's workshop. There's every chance we might find the man there. Clicking like crazy there. So you've been to Drebber's place of work, then? Yes, just once, you understand. It was an enormous place. Plenty of room to construct the kinesis machine, you see. Where can we find it? We have to go there at once. There's a good chance that we'll find Drebber there. Well, yes, definitely. I'm sure. As in, I'm sure you're not going to want to hear this. But I have absolutely no idea where the workshop is at all. Oh dear. I'm so sorry! I was more than half expecting that. You see, I was blindfolded in the carriage the entire way there. He blindfolded you? He wasn't taking any chances then. The place was incredible, the pinnacle of modern engineering. Even the oil he used was the very best, a special French machine oil that's impossible to obtain in Britain. Ah, the indescribable scent of that imported oil! Perfumers across the world should forget their secret formula and use that instead. What do you think, Mr. Sato? Ode a machine for your next birthday?
I've never used any kind of perfume, Mr. Naruhodo, and I'm not sure I'd like to start with that. I don't suppose you know even part of the workshop's address, Professor? You don't have a business card from Mr. Drebber, for example?
Are you sure you weren't just kidnapped?
I'm personally not very. The man was clearly very cautious. Mr. Sato. I'm sure he would never have. Ah! Yes, I do. He gave me his business card once. It's right here. Look. What?
Let me see that.
Throw etiquette to the wind, why don't you?
Enoch Drebber, engineer. I'm afraid that's all it says. There's no address.
No. Oh well, I can't say I'm surprised. Still, this could be useful. Drebber's card has been entered into the court record. Shows only the man's name, there is no address. Court record. Yeah, here we go. Symbols, Enoch Drebber, engineer. What's on the back of it? A smudge. This dark smudge here.
I think perhaps it's machine oil.
Ah, yes, possibly. Professor Harebrain mentioned something about the oil Mr. Drebber uses, didn't he? He said it was specially imported, very high quality oil that's impossible to obtain in Britain.
Yes, that's right, but more importantly, that it's more fragrant than the finest perfume. So, excuse me a moment. Oh, it doesn't appear to have any scent at all.
Don't worry, I expect that's just because there's such a tiny amount on here. There is a smear of machine oil on the reverse. Okay, good that we got that. Back. I guess we're moving to the next place. The experimentation stage? Sure. October 23rd, the Great Exhibition grounds, foot of the Crystal Tower. Aww.
I had no idea there were so many people in the world.
I know what you mean. It's really packed here today. Go to France and ask them where they send the oil to in Britain. But how long would that take, Fire? It's not like we have instantaneous kinesis.
Feels as though it's taken us 2 hours just to make our way through the crowds to this point.
Has it? I shut my brain down so I didn't really notice, to be honest. Yes, cute doggo.
Gosh, I do wish I had your absence of mind sometimes, Mr. Naruhodo.
There you are! I had a feeling you lot would show your mugs before long.
Oh, it's you! I thought it was Gina. My mistake.
There you are. I had a feeling you lot would show your mugs before long.
Oh, Inspector Gregson! I see you're hard at work as usual.
Warm greetings to you. I do hope you've been keeping well since last we met.
What's with all the ceremony? We just saw each other in court this morning.
Not you, Sunshine. The gentlewoman's so loyally at your side.
Oh! Why, thank you, Inspector. How good of you to notice.
He might be a bit rough around the edges, but he's still a proper English gentleman at heart, I suppose. That was a great Gina impression, Gregson. Yep. Well, you just go to the menu and click where you want to go and get there in 3 seconds. I don't think it'd take long to get to France at all. Menu, click. Yeah, but I don't think France is listed in the options. I'll check, though. As you probably guessed, we were hoping to investigate the scene some more.
Right, well, that's the young Chinese domain. Oi, get over here, Gina!
Pupper. She seems to be busy playing with a puppy, probably giving it a traditional East End training. No, it's a language setting.
Gina? She's a police officer now?
Amazing, isn't it?
She's a good kid, actually. Heart's in the right place, anyway. She's got the detection bug, if you ask me.
And that's how you get to France.
Yep, I think she'll follow in my footsteps nicely.
You could add France to the menu for me? Well, see what you can do, I suppose. What do you mean?
I'm being transferred. It's time for me to say toodaloo to London.
Oh no, really?
That's a bit sudden, isn't it? I had no idea. Where are you going to be posted then? We'll come to see how you're getting along.
Not likely, but you're welcome to try. If you don't mind a trip to France, that is.
Ayo? Funny you should mention that, Inspector. To France.
You're going to France? Yep. I'll be working in the Paris Police Prefecture. Should be right up my alley.
But France! It's an entirely different country. I don't understand. Why would you be sent there?
That's the way the adult world works, Sunshine. Now don't go poking your nose in where it's not wanted. I'm intending to take the kid with me when I go.
What? You're taking Gina to Paris?
Well, I can't leave her here in London. Who knows what'll become of her?
I suppose he's worried she'd slip back into slipping your hands into people's pockets and purses.
I don't think he's worried about her pickpocketing, Mr. Naruhodo. I think he's worried about the Reaper.
Oh, of course! So that's playing on Inspector Gregson's mind too, is it? Is it?
Anyway, I haven't mentioned any of this to Gina, so don't go blabbing, you hear me?
No, of course not.
I'm gonna keep that diving diva safe and sound. Until all this is over, at least.
Oi! You just called me a bloomin' diving diva again!
So you heard that, did you? Right, well, any questions about the scene, you can put them to my capable detective diva here. Diva here.
Alright, you heard the boss!
Gina, you're going to France! Yep.
Inspector Lestrade's in charge here now.
I suppose I'd better keep my word and not mention anything about Paris. So, Gina, you've got a new dog, have you?
Pupper! Isn't he great? Toby's his name. Oh, how delightful. He's absolutely adorable.
Yes, the dog does seem lovely. But it's the not-so-lovely Inspector Gregson that's playing on my mind, to be honest. This changed before I could even click on it? Oh, it must have been... Oh, it must be because I talked to Strongheart first. Decloaking time. Gina, we were actually hoping that we could investigate the scene again.
Yeah, alright. If it's around here, you can do what you like.
Oh, that's alright, is it?
There's a spy around here. I'm going to be playing with me new friend here.
Ah, yes, Toby.
Woof!
The machine that exploded must be at the top of those stairs, I presume? I haven't actually seen it yet, so if you don't mind.
Sorry, you can't go up there, Suze. Oh? It's like I told Aldo yesterday. Even I ain't allowed near that wreck.
That engineer's a spy!
Alright, I'll see if I can pet Toby.
What's it called again? The reason we ain't supposed to touch it? The Special
Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act? Is that what you were thinking of?
That's the one! That's why only them lot are allowed to investigate it. What are they called again? The Forensic something? Something?
The Forensic Investigation Team. Is that what you were thinking of?
That's the one, yeah!
But isn't it the case that the special dispensation has been lifted?
I think so, but don't really get it, to be truthful with you. You're still supposed to get permission from some bigwig or other as far as I know. What was his name again? Lord Strange something?
I'm not sure that's quite right, Gina. I think you mean Lord Strongheart, perhaps?
That's the one, yeah! Apparently he's always watching the time or something.
You'll bet Toby is the real mastermind behind whatever is happening. I thought it was Dog.
Actually, we've just recently been to see Lord Strongheart.
Huh? You what? You've met him? Last time the boss was called to go and see him. He waited for 3 hours at the Cob's office and came back sniveling.
Tragic.
Well, Lord Strongheart has given us permission to examine the scene as long as we touch nothing.
Oh yeah?
Honestly.
Alright then, go ahead. But if it turns out you're lying, it'll be the boss who gets it. He'll never eat another chip again in his life. So, you're still saying all this is above board, are you?
I'm sure everything will be fine.
That really would be tragic.
Alright then, them's the stairs. Off you go.
Oh, thank you, Gina.
Today's trial.
It was great, wasn't it? I had a right laugh. It was a new one on me, that. You know, being in court and not spending the whole time worrying about to be found out.
You did keep an awful lot of secrets in all your previous court appearances, didn't you?
Yeah, and Aldo's made things hard for me every single time and all.
Just doing my job, Gina. Dog the mouse versus Toby the dog. Which mastermind will win out? Good question. Just doing my job, Gina.
Watching someone else get it in the neck is a lot of fun, actually. It was amazing when you showed that dodgy Professor Dodgy experiment was a total fix. The dodgy professor, as you put it, Gina, is Mr. Naruhodo's client.
Yes, I'm starting to wish he wasn't, though.
It's the boss I feel sorry for. Sent off to do the impossible.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? He's supposed to arrest that other cove, ain't he? And in time for tomorrow and all. You know, the dodgy engineer. What's his name again?
Mr. Drebber, you mean? Enoch Drebber?
That's the one, yeah!
So the police are looking for this mysterious man with the black monocle. I guess they would be.
It's putting too much on the boss, if you ask me. He says it's giving him godache.
Oh dear, but I do wonder if that isn't actually from all the fried food.
The engineer's whereabouts. So Scotland Yard are trying to track down Mr. Enoch Drebber. I wonder if they've had any luck.
He's really funny looking. Got 2 eyes what don't match. Stole a glimpse of a picture of him earlier. I mean, I didn't actually pinch it or nothing. The old devil's got it.
Sorry? Who?
You know, that scowling reaper what's always glugging down glasses, that blood-red plonk.
Ah, Lord Van Zeeks.
He's always had it in for me, that cove. Don't know what he's always scowling about, mind. Probably would have been a pretty good boss as it goes.
She'd rather be the Reaper's apprentice than a detective's trainee? The way I see it, if the choice is between a chip-guzzling detective and a chalice-glugging demigod, you're equally badly off with both.
Oh, I suppose you're right. I hadn't thought of it like that.
Glad we've put that one to bed.
Anyway, point is, everyone at the yard's dead set on finding that fishy engineer. There don't seem to be no clues to go on, so they're stuck.
There's nothing that can lead us to Drebber at all? Toby the dog. Now can we pet the dog? Where did you find that little mutt then, Gina?
Oi! Don't be so flaming rude, Otto!
Slight overreaction, don't you think?
He ain't no mutt, alright? Toby's... how'd they put it? Oh yeah! A bona fide detective!
Aww. Sorry? Pet the dog. Pet doggo.
I've given him a proper title and everything. It's Chief Inspector Toby to you.
Aww. More senior than Inspector Gregson, is he?
Ooh, so he's a police dog, is he?
The police recruit dogs now?
I've heard that they're already being used officially in Germany as part of their city policing. They're used for chasing criminals and such like. They have a wonderful sense of smell, after all.
I have a fairly good sense of smell myself as it happens. I can tell undergarments that have been freshly laundered from undergarments that haven't. Why? Why bring this up?
That's nothing compared to this little fella, Otto.
Oh, really?
According to what the boss said. What's Toby here's got a good whip for your drawers. He could chase that scent to the other side of the world.
Pet the doggo. Ryu is a police dog, confirmed. What? What? To the other side of the world? You mean he can swim? Well, yes.
Mr. Naruhodo, I think you may have missed the point by rather a wide margin.
I just can't believe this little dog has such an incredible skill.
I'm telling you, Otto, there's got to be more and more dogs doing their bit for the police in future. Woof.
Yes, I agree.
Right, one of these days they'll be barking orders at us lot, not the other way around.
Bark. Bork, bork.
Oh dear. Sorry, Gina. I don't think I agree with your vision quite that much.
Well, anyway, whatever you think about that, Toby is Britain's first police dog. I found him down the East End the other day. Someone had just chucked him out on the street.
There you go. I knew she'd lifted him from somewhere.
Oh, Gina, you're such a kind-hearted soul, aren't you? To children and to animals.
That there dog's a spy! But can the dog go to France? The last transport we saw, there was no pets allowed. Yeah, exactly. It would be an improvement, wouldn't it, Fire? Anyway, there's one of these things. That is not what I clicked. There's what we want.
Here's the scorching on the ground that you mentioned.
Yes, and there's what's left of the green balloon's envelope. All clear evidence of the balloon that exploded on the day of the incident.
Poor Professor Harebrain. I do feel sorry for him that his dreams have been shattered like this.
Someone's well and truly burst his bubble, as it were. Yeah, no, buddy. Ouch. I'm a bad person. Yes, you are, Ryu. They're still investigating up here?
What a shame that the symbolic landmark of the Great Exhibition has been damaged like that.
Yes, unfortunately the birdcage crashed in the most prominent position possible. Yeah, a man died, Ryu, exactly. It's the gods giving us a warning, if you ask me. Man must travel under his own steam and not cut corners with instantaneous kinesis. Get off the frickin' stage! Yep.
But imagine what might have happened if the birdcage had landed in a slightly different location. The death toll could have been far worse. So I think perhaps it was a blessing in disguise.
Well, the gods are benevolent, obviously. I did say it was just a warning. Man must travel under his own steam, or next time bird cages will rain down on all of you.
Your faith is much stronger than I realized.
Well, how do you think I passed the entrance exam for Yume University? It wasn't by studying alone. You'll bet this was really Palkia's doing for distorting space without its permission. Imagine. These stairs lead up to the experimentation stage. Let's go and see what we can find out. October 23rd, the Great Exhibition Grounds experimentation stage.
Oh my! So this is the machine.
There's a game, Fossil Fighters Champions with a king dog. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
That was used to deceive people into thinking instantaneous kinesis had taken place.
Yes, that's right. Or rather, it was the machine. It's a little worse for wear at the moment.
What extraordinary lengths Professor Harebrain went to in order to obtain the research grant.
No, the professor was tricked as well. He didn't know anything about it.
Yes, of course. It is amazing, though, isn't it? The scale of the whole affair is so very British.
You're right about that. You'd never see such a grand deception in Japan, that's for sure.
Oh, look! Is that... Lord Van Zeeks?
Oh, hello. I didn't actually see him there. So I think we're more or less done. Here, aren't we? Shall we, Mr. Sato?
Already?
He is the Reaper, remember? We'd do well to keep our distance, I think.
But we have permission to be here, from the top. We're perfectly well allowed to investigate this machine, as long as we don't touch anything.
From the top? Do you mean Lord Strongheart?
Exactly. So we can stay here and stare at this wreckage for as long as we like.
She could have been at the center of the explosion here, and it wouldn't have bent her steel will. You'd never see such a grand deception in Japan. No, why does this sound like foreshadowing? Yeah, I think this spans across both countries, maybe more.
What a terrible explosion it must have been. Even the steel girders have buckled and twisted in the blast.
In Japan, you get giant dog you can ride and cat that can kill. Let's be real here, Red. Any cat can kill. And what they call the bird cage was right in the middle of it all, just here. But look, Mr. Naruhodo, that metal grill on the floor, it has hinges. The cage dropped inside.
Looks as though it's designed to open.
It does, doesn't it? If the floor had opened at the precise moment the explosion occurred, the birdcage could have dropped through and disappeared from sight. Not if you give it a sword. Finally meet him out of the Bailey. Yep. Well, to be fair, a week or two ago we did meet him in his office.
I don't think there's any doubt that this was a very elaborate hoax, is there?
Alright, let's speak with you. Least approachable man in the world winner 10 years in a row.
Be strong, Mr. Naruhodo. Your country and your assistants stand firm behind you.
Lord Van Zeeks? What? Well, beautiful weather we're having, isn't it? I thought I was making it quite clear that I didn't want to be disturbed. Apparently you Nipponese are unequipped to read the signs. Oh, I read them. So, what are you doing here? Entry to this area is prohibited.
Ah, well, the thing is, Lord Chief Justice Strongheart granted us permission to investigate, on the condition that we didn't disturb anything.
And yet you've managed to disturb me.
Ah!
Never mind. State your business then. Come to think of it, there are quite a few things I'd like to ask Lord Van Zeeks about. Not least of which is that awful case, even though it's nothing to do with this.
Ask away, Mr. Naruhodo. You won't know unless you try.
Here we go. Your brother Clint. So, Clint was the name of your older brother, I understand, Lord Van Zeeks?
You Nipponese. I always have to be on guard whenever you're around. So, you've been investigating me, have you?
Oh, no, it's not like that. Well, alright, it is a bit like that.
My older brother was also a prosecutor. He was the pride of the Van Zeeks family. But tragically, a vicious killer took him from us.
The professor, you mean? Is something funny?
That's the extent of what you've discovered, is it? I shouldn't be surprised.
Sorry? There's more to it then?
Lackluster work is very much your trademark, isn't it?
Ugh, you're too kind. Are you gonna tar all Nipponese with the same brush next? Yes. Racism 100, remember?
So tell me, what's your interest in that historic incident?
As it happens, Lord Van Zeeks, there's a rather curious case that's come to our attention. Are you aware of the Madame Tuspel's Museum of Waxwork by any chance?
I am, naturally. I believe that since last month I feature in one of the displays there, for public scorn.
Of course the infamous Reaper of the Bailey would have to be exhibited, wouldn't he? Coming from the man you've beaten several times in court. Yeah, basically fire.
Well, a particular waxwork has been stolen from the place and held for ransom.
A particular waxwork. Which... Wait! You mean...
Yes, it's the professor. Mr. Sholmes is investigating the case as we speak.
I was unaware of that.
He's turned as white as a sheet. Now it's getting interesting. Are the police trying to locate the engineer, Mr. Drebber, already?
Surely that goes without saying.
We're very keen to see him found as well. The trouble is, we don't have much to go on aside from the description of the man we heard in court earlier.
which, according to Professor Hairbrain, was of a tall, thin gentleman who has straight white hair and wears a black monocle.
So, I was just wondering, I mean, I realize it's probably not possible, but...
We'd very much appreciate any more clues you can give us.
Wow, Susato-san really knows how to take the bull by the horns.
Fine. Why not? I have a photograph of the man here from an investigation 10 years ago. Though it appears he already had that black monocle at the time.
We've seen this guy before.
What?
Oh, no, nothing. I was just surprised that you shared that with us. Is that the apprentice?
We all need the man's testimony in court tomorrow. Which means we have to do everything we possibly can to track him down in the short time available. So why wouldn't I show you the photograph?
What is it about Lord Van Zeeks? Sometimes you just can't work him out at all. The photograph of Drebber has been entered into the court record. This guy. No, wait. We thought this was Sholmes, didn't we? Hang on. Court record. Right here, and backside of this. This right here. Okay, top hat is Zeke's. Okay, no, I thought I remembered there being hair here. No. And... people, maybe? Okay, this is what he looks like, apparently. A trickster who seems to be both an engineer and a magician. He constructed the machine for Professor Hairbrain's demonstration. Honestly, if it wasn't for last week, I'd probably be giving him a Sephiroth voice. Yeah, there was some dialogue when we talked to him before that suggested he could be Sholmes. That's, yeah, I remember that.
Ah, the file I requested for the trial tomorrow. Thank you.
Are you alright?
Who is this man, Mr. Naruhodo?
Lord Van Zeeks' apprentice, apparently. So I'm not the only one. Susato-san can see it too.
Lord Van Zeeks, may we speak with your apprentice for a moment?
Okay, it's Sholmes. It's definitely Sholmes. With him. Bye.
Oh no.
Kazuma-sama!
Kazuma.
Yeah, I think I was gone for a few moments there. I don't believe it.
Your posture, your presence.
The real plot twist was that the play was killed off. Yeah, the player. Yeah, that's the plot twist. I die.
Your posture, your presence. It can only be... It's you. Isn't it, Kazuma-sama?
felt something strange the very first time I encountered this cloaked figure. As if I knew him somehow. Can it really be you, Kazuma? Oh, wait! Too late.
What's going on here? What is your interest in my apprentice exactly? You act as if you know the man or something.
Well, since when has he been in your care? I don't recall you having an apprentice before I left Britain 6 months ago.
Lord Strongheart introduced him to me about 3 months ago now, with instructions to mentor him as a prosecutor.
But he didn't tell you why, did he?
The man appears to be suffering from amnesia. He's forgotten every last detail about himself.
He has amnesia?
Tomorrow he will appear in court at my side.
What?
He's to serve as my judicial assistant on Lord Strongheart's orders.
He'll be in court with us? Oh, he'll probably remember in the middle of the case, or near the end.
Now then, unless I'm much mistaken, I believe this conversation has run its course.
Oh, yes, thank you. I definitely saw a reaction there. When Susato-san called out like that, it really seemed to hit a nerve. When she called out Kazuma-sama. Okay, I can't present a person to him. Oh, we still have more to investigate here? Okay.
Oh, isn't it exhilarating? All this different architecture from all corners of the world.
It does make you feel a bit like an explorer, doesn't it? I know it's all subjective, but the onion-shaped roofs have rather caught my attention, personally.
It is very subjective, isn't it?
Japanese buildings with their wood and paper construction have excellent ventilation, and I've realized that British buildings being made from brick and stone are very strong and long-lasting. The more you know about how things are done in other countries, the more you understand your own, I feel.
Oh yes, I do agree with you there.
But I can't help wondering what an onion does for the roof of a building. I mean, I suppose it's playing on my mind because I don't like the taste of onions.
You really oughtn't let your taste in vegetables dictate your taste in roofs, Mr. Naruhodo.
Oh, that's right, we can go up here. We can examine this.
Look at that horn-shaped transmitting device. Isn't it amazing?
That's exactly what I thought when I first saw it.
It makes you think, doesn't it? If only it had just been a normal horn, none of this would have happened.
That's almost exactly what I thought as well. I bet I can predict what you're going to say next in that case. You're about to say, nothing ever goes to plan, aren't you?
Oh no, I would never say something like that.
You're not supposed to eat the roof onions. Nope. Do not eat the roof onions. Balloons. However much I look at them, I just can't come to terms with those Tamari handballs floating in the sky.
You've been glaring at them constantly since we came up here.
Sorry, the feelings of wanting to ride in one and wanting never to set foot in one are fighting it out inside me.
But if you don't look where you're walking, you might fall from the stage.
I don't think I'd notice. That's how fiercely the battle inside me is raging.
I think you should make peace with riding in one, Mr. Naruhodo. It really would be much safer that way.
Ferris wheel, maybe?
I hear the ride on Ferris wheel is a favorite romantic outing among young London couples.
I think the romance would be slightly spoiled by the abject terror, personally, but then I'm not a Londoner.
Are you a little scared of heights, Mr. Naruhodo?
It's not that I'm scared, not at all. It's just that staying on the ground seems so much safer.
Well, perhaps I shall have to ask Iris and Mr. Sholmes to accompany me on it in that case.
When you put it like that, part of me does want to give it a try.
Oh dear, it is complicated for you, isn't it?
Okay, is there anything notable about this horn that we missed? Nope. What about this thing? What is this thing? This wasn't here yesterday.
Really? But if I'm not mistaken, it's the cage in which the victim was standing before he was apparently beamed through the air.
That's right, the bird cage. According to what Professor Harebrained said in court, it's made of wood. Yep.
Or more precisely, Japanese cypress, I think. And despite having been in an explosion and then falling from a great height, it's relatively unharmed. What wonderfully durable construction, wouldn't you say, Mr. Naruhodo?
I'd understood that the forensic investigation team had taken it away yesterday to examine it. I suppose they must have brought it back here when they'd finished their work.
But sadly not with the body inside it.
No, that's right. I know we were given strict instructions not to touch anything, but still. This is too important a piece of evidence to overlook. We might need it for the trial. The bird cage from the machine has been entered in... Oh, so they're just going to take the bird cage with them? Wooden cage that was used for Professor Harebrain's experiment. This cage with the victim inside crashed down into the crystal tower. There were 2 cages. We know that, though.
You'd already met that masked man, hadn't you, Mr. Naruhodo?
Yes. Yesterday, in fact. How am I going to take the... Okay, I'm not taking the bird cage. It's still here. Yes, yesterday, in fact, at Lord Van Zeek's office.
I see. And if Kazuma-sama really is still alive, it means that Mr. Sholmes lied to us.
I know. We're going to need to speak to him about that. It's big enough to fit a person inside, and you're just going to casually lift it and take it away. So what's that strapped to your back? Exactly. That's my point here. How would they possibly do that?
You're going to have to leave now. The forensic investigation team are due to arrive shortly.
Still there.
If they find you here, it will cause problems.
What sort of problems?
Foreign affairs problems.
Well, we could do without that. All right, we'll be on our way. Let's go, Mrs. Sato.
Of course.
Oh, can we speak to you? Oh, yes, we can. Gina, we were actually hoping that we could investigate the scene again.
Yeah, alright. If it's around here, you can do what you like.
Oh, that's all right, is it?
I'm going to be playing with my new friend here.
Ah, yes, Toby. Apparently we can't look around on the stage now because the forensic investigation team are at work. Can't you do anything, Gina, in your capacity as Inspector Lestrade?
Look, I'd like to help you out. But I'm just a trainee, ain't I? Ain't nothing I can do.
When it suits you, yes. Let's show her this. See if anything happens. Gina, would you take a look at... Oh! Where did it go?
Looking for this, Aldo?
When did she do that?
I wonder if you got anything else to show me, eh? What do you reckon?
Give that back first, please!
Ah, the Crystal Tower. I can't believe I'm seeing it in such close proximity with my own eyes.
You've really been looking forward to the great exhibition, haven't you, Mrs. Sato?
Oh, yes. When I found out that I had to return to Japan, I'm afraid I cursed my luck.
But here you are back in London, gazing up at the magnificent tower.
I know. Perhaps I was wrong to curse my luck so harshly.
The stage up there is where the experiment was set up. It's very high, isn't it?
About 30 feet, I believe. Or 9 meters, if you prefer.
Show her the bird cage? Oh, okay. I'll try that. Love to help you, but I'm not going to, you know.
Craning your neck to see up to it starts to hurt after a while, doesn't it?
Yes, we need to get up there and look around properly. Although, if I'm honest, climbing all those stairs makes my chest hurt.
Oh dear. I think perhaps you should exercise more, Mr. Naruhodo.
Present the birdcage. Oh! Right, I still have to examine the birdcage.
Look here, Mr. Sato. Oh yes, the wood's cracked and broken a little. I suppose because it fell from such a height?
Yes, from the height at which the balloon was flying down into the crystal tower below. A fall of about 30 feet, or 9 meters. A fall of about 30 feet, 9 meters? That's the height of the tower. This is probably... We don't know whether this is the birdcage that fell through the stage, or onto the tower.
Leaving the man inside tragically dead.
The wooden cage that we used for the demonstration crashed down with the victim inside into the crystal tower, causing damage to its base. Oh wow, there's a whole hole in it here. You think someone could crawl out this way? Or at the very least, you could drag a body out this way. When you show the burb cage, Rude Buster starts to play.